G'day everyone, welcome back. We're going to be doing something a little different today. We're not on the boat, we're actually in our family caravan. We've got a couple of trips planned this year, well in the next few months, and in Australia and the rest of the southern hemisphere. We're coming into winter and it gets chilly, not really cold, but chilly, and I hate the cold. So what we're going to do is we're going to install a diesel heater. Now, I jumped on eBay and brought not the cheapest one I could find. It wasn't far off it, but it's not the cheapest. But it's one of them. So 5 kilowatt, is that what it is? Yep, 5 kilowatt diesel heater. It's like a remote mount model. So you've got, this is the unit here, which has your air in and air out, and there's just the diesel heating element I'm going to assume is in there. You've got in and out, whatever way, for the actual burner itself. And it also has a separate diesel tank. They reckon that's a 10 litre diesel tank. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, I've got an idea of where we're going to mount it, and we'll have a bit of a geeze, see if it'll fit. Hopefully it does, and we'll get it all up and running so we can actually have a nice warm camping adventure this time. Alright, so before we get too deep into it, I thought I'd give you a look at what $135 buys, and I mean it's a fair bit really. So it comes with a particular one, and I could leave a link if you want in the description. I brought it off eBay, paid full price. I'll let you know if it's any good. But it comes with 2 vents. There'll be your air out, a white piece, which is good. So a small amount of ducting, which yeah, fits pretty good. I don't know how far that'll expand. Probably, oh, it'll probably go a little bit. I think that's for the exhaust side, and then there's also a little muffler that it comes with. Good mate of mine actually has not the same unit, but he's got a diesel heater in his, an eBay one, which has been working great, and he said that the muffler makes a really big difference. So all of the muffler and exhaust, everything is outside of the van obviously. Looks like it's got a little filter for the air intake, which I'm going to assume is what that's for. Yeah, okay, righto. Yeah, white piece for the ducting. What do we got? Some hose clamps, random bits and bobs. That's the fuel injector is what they relate it to. It's just a little, it almost just looks like a little clicky clack fuel pump that just puts a certain amount of pulse of diesel through every time to keep the burner running. And I think basically the more it pulses, the more fuel it gets, and the hotter the burner gets. I think that's probably the regulation for it. There's a little touch panel, which is good, or you know, control panel, and a remote too, swanky. And that'll obviously live inside the van, so you know you don't really have to do anything. You just hit the button and she all fires up. And very basic wiring harness. So yeah, I'm gonna mull over the instructions for a little bit, and we'll go from there. Looks like we got. I'm not gonna say that's fuel line because I don't think it'll go over that. Nope. Okay, I don't know what that's for. That might be to drop into the tank. That one there looks like a dropper for the tank too, but I don't. It's she's not gonna fit in there. I don't understand. I'll read the instructions. We'll see how it all lays out. And then, yeah, I'll show you where I'm thinking it's going to go. Alright, so there's the van, so you know what we're working with. So, it's a 2008 Jayco Dove. We've had it for a fair while. It's been a really good van for us. But yeah, like I'm saying, we're making some additions. So, in the front, there's like a boot section here. And this is where I thought about mounting the unit itself. Oh, I don't know how good of an angle that's going to be, but anyway, fuel tank there, and then I might have to make a standoff for the heater itself, breaking stuff. But essentially, it'll go up in there, packaged right up in this back corner. So, and the intake and exhaust go out the bottom tank, and I'll mount the little pump up on the top corner here, and I'm going to come out with a vent from here straight through straight through this wall and in But I'll show you what I need to figure out first, because the Jayco mechanisms can be a little bit hard to work around. So here we are inside again, obviously, and this is a seat cushion, but well, this is where the seat was, but that's a false wall. So you pull that down, and so there's that much between the actual the forward wall, and where we are. In this section here, there's a whole bunch of cables that run back and forth to each side, and that's what control lifting the roof up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull this panel off. There's only a few Phillips heads along it. I've got to have a double check where those cables are. I have had it off before, and from memory they run along the floor. If that's the case, then the ducting won't interfere. It'll be no worries. We'll come through, and I don't know, maybe a duct here and then one down that end. But we need to make sure we're not going to hit the cables first, because that's a recipe for a bad time. So let me grab my drill, rip this panel off and see what we got. So she's going to sit down there. I ended up putting it on this side because the way the van's sort of orientated, the door's over that side, and obviously the bed comes out like you saw, and I wanted to keep the exhaust, so I'll show you what we did underneath. So this is where we are underneath. I've got to put a couple of screws in the back of this plate just to hold the plate, but it's all on, sealed, everything, no worries. I started off drilling just 2 holes with the hole saw and then the bolt holes, but it was a bit sort of finicky to try and get it in there. So what I ended up doing was coming in with a jigsaw and actually cutting a hole all the way around to give clearance, especially for the hot side pipe, because the floor of the van's plywood. I wanted to give clearance off the edge of the hot side pipe to the plywood of the van. So yeah, it's actually sort of back there somewhere. Gives a good bit of clearance. Anyway, this is the exhaust where it sits. It's not clamped, obviously. There's some metal stainless P-clamps that it comes with, so we'll P-clamp him up. The intake, I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. It comes with a little, like a little canister style thing that hangs off the end, and yeah, not a massive fan of it. I'm actually thinking about running the intake back in. So this is the intake for the heater, for the actual combustion side of it, not the airflow. And yeah, I don't know, I might even just maybe try and get just a different filter for it. That's just a bit of foam I shoved in the end to stop the critters getting in there. They won't live in there, it's just for now, because that's about it for the day. So yeah, fuel tank's in. It comes with a bung. There's like multiple positions you can put it. I'm gonna go here, and then the fuel injector that we saw, it's got to be mounted on a specific angle. So I'm going to put it there, and then probably mount the injector down here on the angle it's supposed to be, and then I can drill a small hole or down here, run the water out and the fuel, and go in. Righty, so update time. It's actually a different weekend. I ran out of time last weekend, and the rain come in, so I stopped. Tank's mounted, that's mounted, no worries, and I've got the fuel system mounted now. So comes out of a fitting in the bottom of the tank. That was a pain. I'll see if I can get it. The fitting in the tank isn't installed when you get it, and you've got to drill a hole and try and drop it down through the neck and fish it. What I ended up doing was getting a bit of filler rod, bit of welding wire, and just sort of jamming it lightly into the fitting. So I fished it down and then got the nut on, and anyway, we got there, worked it out. Round into the filter, and then through what they call the injector, which is, I think it's just a fuel solenoid, but yeah, it just delivers the metered amount of diesel. Now, from here, we're going to have to get from the outlet through the wall, and then through the wall, and then into the van. Now, I've had to have a few rethinks on this because my darling partner made some very good points, and I'll show you what I mean. Now, like I said at the start, it comes with a Y piece, and I was going to run 2 vents. I've got 2, you know, we're all good. I was originally going to put one here, and then one over there. Now, that's under the table, but what happens is, over night time, the table comes down and gets turned into a bed across them all. And generally speaking, all of the stuff that's in and around the van over night time just gets shoved under the table. It's just out of the way, and, you know, I got 3 kids, there's a lot of stuff in the van. So that sort of renders that vent over there pretty useless because, like I said, table's down and it's chock-a-block full of crap. It also means I'll be pumping hot air right into the side of whatever's under there, and that could be a safety hazard, so we're not doing that. I thought about possibly trying to run it right across the back wall, so maybe try and snake it along there, but I've got a power distribution box there, which is a piece of crap and I want to get rid of it, but that's not today's job. So I thought I could possibly sneak it up, don't judge my battery, across through here and then, you know, out somewhere here. But what I've found is this stuff is not available much. You can get it online. It's not very expensive, but it's just, yeah, it's just not that around. Certainly not locally. I went to Bunnings. They've got similar stuff, but it's not the same, and it's not the same diameter. So I think what I'm going to do, and I've been told, so good mate of mine, he's got one in his caravan, almost identical. He said that they pump a lot of heat, but they also push a lot of airflow. So I think what I'm going to do is the single vent, I'm still going to install there just by itself, because I can point it up, and you know, there's nothing here normally, it's a very open space. If I put it down there and have the fan going reasonably, it should come and hopefully fill more or less the whole void of the van. Hopefully. So yeah, we'll see. And I should have enough. This stuff concertina's out a long way apparently, so we'll find out soon. But that means all I've got to do is come out of the heater, drill 2 holes with a hole saw and install 1 vent, and then we just need to do a bit of wiring. So let's do that. Nope, don't have a hole saw big enough. That's alright. I got a jigsaw. So we're going to go around there somewhere. Oh, am I going to get that with the jigsaw? Oh well, we'll see. There's an up there. Yeah, I didn't really find anything else to work, so we're going to stitch drill him and just clean it up after. Tell you what, this thing's been coming in handy lately. Bit rough, but they've got a nice size flange on them, so it'll cover it. Alright, so I thought I would try that again. Before we get too far, I really want to see how far this stuff's actually going to expand, and if I've got any hope of getting it all the way. Okay. Not like super duper confident, but we'll see how we go. Maybe. I know what'll happen. I'll either just get it, which will be great, or I'll just miss it, which will not be great. Alright, I think that's about it. I'm going to say it probably comes out to about 1 metre. I think we'll be okay. weight reduction. Weight reduction. Nailed it. Alright. Just going to go through there. Oh, get your big foot out of there. Alright, so I didn't have any plasterboard screws. I don't any plasterboard, any countersunks. Oh. But I do have some little, just some little Phillips head ones. They shouldn't be, well, they'll come through, but not by a lot. But they're pretty low profile. I don't think they'll hurt anything. Let's see. Worst case, if it's, you know, really not that great, then I'll pull them out and put some countersunks. Got some countersunks there. Where are they from? Oh, they're for the seat. Yeah, we won't put them in yet. They hold the seat base down. So let's just try that again. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they stick through a bit, but it won't hurt it. It doesn't stick out past the back of the vent. They only come out a little bit, so put them in and squeeze the vent on. And I didn't bring a screwdriver back, but it's like working on a boat, but not as fun. All right, so I'm going to go pretty much smack bang in the middle. That should allow me to adjust it outside if I need to. I think we'll be somewhere near it. Alright. Let's go and have a look outside. Let's see what I just drilled into. Where are we? Okay, so there's our centre. So that's alright, that's not bad. It's sort of going to come up an S. Anyway, so there's the middle of the hole. I think what we might do is adjust that and bring it this way. So that can be our edge, sort of middle, but edge of the hole. So we'll cut around there. I think that's probably our best bet. Let's drill a bigger hole. Same spot, but just bigger. And then I think we're just going to come in with the recip saw and get it as best as we can. So I got to get a bit bigger than the texture mark. So we'll see. It's a little bit of guesswork at this point. What makes it hard too is it's a double skin. Alrighty, so I just cut it outside. I actually ended up doing it with a jigsaw. The recip just wouldn't do it. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I'm gonna get. It's gonna just miss, isn't it? Oh no. Oh, I reckon we'll get that to work. We've got a bit of stretch. Yeah, we've got a bit of stretch left on that. Oh, now I'm going to join them together. Maybe just give them the old kinkaroo and... But that's it, that's long enough. Yes! Not a very pretty hole. But it fits. There's a hole on the inside. I had a bit of pinch weld left over from an old job. So put that around it, looks pretty professional. And it should help seal it up a bit. Get him in there and give it a go. Try and stretch this out as much as I can to help the join easier, but that looks pretty good, I think. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot. Oh, I didn't think about that. Alright, I think probably a good idea when we get it running. There's going to be run it on full bickies, max bickies with everything open, and just have a really good gauge at how hot everything gets. Go from there. Anyway, I'm going to try and figure out a neat way to join these two together, and then we'll get this centerboard back in. So here's a little bit of my semi-janky but very temporary setup. So I put my solar controller back in, and I've just used the terminals basically as a bus to hook the power up for the heater. I haven't turned the heater on at all. Well, having said that, it looks like it's got something on the back light, but I haven't turned it on. What I'm going to do is attempt to pour diesel down here. I might have found a nice big floor to start with. Let's see how we go. That's not going to work at all. Son of a biscuit. Right, I'm going to have to find a funnel of some description. I did get diesel in it. It wasn't fantastic. Little, just cut up. I need to figure something better. When I'm filling it from a jerry can, it should be better. Actually, I might put the lid back on that. It should be a lot better. But there's no leaks that I can see anywhere yet. So, power button. Okay, now what? Okay. Power. Cool. None of the buttons do anything. Alright, I'm going to read the manual. Get it out. I had to long press to turn it on. So we're clicking. We haven't pulled any diesel yet. Or we are pulling diesel, but it's not. It's just starting to come up the line. We're getting there. Maybe. What do we got? I don't think we got any flamage yet. Haven't really pulled anything yet, actually. I'm opening the filter. Trying to. There's a tiny little bit spitting out of the end. Under everything. Oh no, I might have to try and prime it a bit better. She's not pulling. The fan's going. I might go inside and see if we can see how good the fan's going. Oh, really died. Well, it's pushing a fair bit of air. That's good. Obviously you can't feel it, but that's alright. It hasn't ignited yet. On diesel yet? Alright, so I ended up putting a bit more in the tank just to get a bit more of a head pressure on. It's definitely pulling, and it's pushing a little bit. Sounds like it's going to take off in a minute. The exhaust certainly starting to make some. Oh yeah, okay, it must be burning because the exhaust is hot. She's pushing some out. And she's starting to warm up. What we got? We got some in the line. Oh yeah, there's some in the line. That's good. You might have to shorten that line maybe because there's a bit of a drop in it there. Oh, she's pushing. Hopefully that's just like an initial amount of burnout. It doesn't do that all the time. But it's definitely cooking. Oh yeah, that pipe's getting warm. Not like crazy hot, but definitely warm. What do we got? Tell us. We're only on level 3 too. Let's go 6. 114 degrees. Let's go see what it feels like inside. I'm tipping hot. Holy crap, she's hot in here already. What do we got? Yeah, that's definitely hot air coming out of there. Like, really hot air. Sweet. We'll go and leave it run for a bit. Can smell it. Whew, she's getting hot down in here. Yeah, let's let that run for a bit and we'll see what it does. Observations so far. I've got a lot of finishing off work to do. I end up running new power up for the solar controller. Just long story, I never had a decent power up there. That's all going to get conduited. so I'll just put split conduit over it. It'll all get P-clamped up, no worries. First thoughts, it's a lot fumier than I thought. I didn't think it would be that fumy. It's going to really soot up the caravan, so I think what I'm going to do is make a chimney for it. So I'll get an extendable, words escape me today. I'm going to get an extendable pole, like an extendable tent pole, or collapsible tent pole, whatever way you want to do it. And I'm going to put a bend on it and have it so that I can keep it in the front pole box, in the pole locker that I've got, and just bring it down and put it in there. I'll put a couple of clips so it can go up, so that all the fumes go up. I don't think you're going to smell it inside the van. It's pretty well sealed. There's no real vents on this side of the van. I'm worried about the soot, but to be honest, I'm more worried about other people around me. We don't go to like tight caravan parks very often, but when we do, nobody's going to want to camp next to somebody with this running. It's just, that's not fair to other people around me. So if I put a chimney up, at least, you know, I can run it and all the fumes are going to go up. So yeah, but does it work? Holy crap, yeah, it works. So I'm running on the lowest setting. I can't really, so the clicking's the little injector down there. I don't think it's going to use much diesel. But anyway, I still got to run the gauge into the van. So I don't really know what it's telling me, but it's got 138 degrees C. I'm going to assume that's probably like the burner temperature, something like that. And then it's got a temperature readout, so this has got a, must have a thermometer in it. But the pipe is definitely, I'm going to say it's between warm and hot. If I had to have a guess, I'd say that's probably maybe 45 odd degrees, something like that. You know, you can put your hand on it, but I wouldn't like to hold it there for a long period of time. But it's all working. It's not hot enough. The steel around it's not getting hot. The rubber isn't getting hot, so I'm not worried about that, which is good. I was concerned. Mind you, I am on the lowest setting, but we'll go into the van. So I thought I'd close the whole van up and just see. So I'm on the lowest setting right now, and it is hot in here, like like really hot. I wish I had a thermometer. I did download an app on my phone, but I don't really know how good it is. Room temperature, let's leave it in the room. So it's been running low, on low for maybe 15 minutes, I suppose, just sitting there ticking away. It's probably I don't know, maybe 21 degrees Celsius outside, and in here it's showing 25.6. So yeah, good 26. Oh, sorry, bring that back up. Good. What are you doing? Stop it. Get out of that. So a good 26 degrees, which is warm. Not hot, but warm. So that's pretty good. And that's, like I said, that's the lowest of the low. Now it's just going up to 27. So it's warming up in here. I'm half tempted to put it on high again, just fully crank it and see what it's like in here. Just see if I shut up for a second, see if you can hear the clicking. I could hear it, but I don't think it'd be enough to bother you when you're sleeping, especially once I pull that flap down on the boot. So I'm going to crank it up and let it run flat out, and I'll come back and see. 26 degrees right now. We'll see what it gets to. While I'm doing that, I am going to trim this front piece and get all that back in properly too. Well, we are all done. It is toasty in here. I just finished buttoning everything back up, so all the seats are back on, everything's tucked away. It's all in all not a bad install, I think. Probably a couple of things I could have done different, but yeah, not terrible. So the vent's down there, like you saw me put in. It swivels, which is good. So right now I sort of got it pointed up, and you could feel it most of the way through the van. But you know, you could sort of point it down and just have it scoot along the floor, whatever you want to do. So I put the control panel over here, and it's got, that's a internal temperature reading, or you know, reading of the panel. I had that up to 27 before, and it's down. Oh, Jesus, bit of wind out there. this is on its lowest setting. So, oh, that's back up at the high now. So it was running down on its lowest, which, how do you get around to there now? There. So it was running on 1 just then, and it's sitting at 26 degrees in here, which is, it's warm. It's not that cold outside, but still. I'm happy with it all. It works really well, fires up good, shuts down, does everything it's supposed to do according to the 2 pages worth of English in the manual. And it definitely gets hot. Like you saw, it's 26 degrees in here and it's running on its lowest setting, so it definitely gets hot. Alright, so just before we end the video, just sort of give you a bit of an update on how it went. So we just come back from 3 days away over the King's birthday long weekend, such that it is now, and the heater works great. It got down to, so we were camping on a dam out west, and it got down to about 1 degree on one of the nights, and in the caravan with the heater running on medium setting, it was still 22 degrees. So, and like you saw, this is a pop top, all canvas, so when it gets cold, it gets really cold in there. But yeah, with the heater running on medium, it was great. We did turn the heater down a little bit there at one point, and yeah, promptly turned it back up, because I think if it was a full size or like a complete van, you know, fully panelled, I think you could run it on low. But like I said, being canvas, it needs to be at least on medium in order to maintain the temperature when it gets cold outside. So now another thing you saw in the video a little bit earlier, how it was really sooty coming out, the exhaust from the burner. It's not like that now. So I stuffed up. That was completely my fault. You also may notice that in one of those shots you saw a little yellow piece of filter foam hanging out of the intake for the burner. Well, I wrongly assumed that that was just an actual piece of genuine filter foam, so like a nice open cell foam. Yeah, it wasn't. It's just a crappy bit of foam that they put in there more for looks. And what I was actually doing unknowingly was choking off the air feed for the burner, which was making the burner run really rich, hence all the soot. As soon as I pulled that out, the soot cleared, it sounded happier and got way hotter. So yeah, that was my fault. It does not burn that hot. Oh, sorry, that hot. It burns hot. There is no soot out of it when it's running at all. I did install a CO2 monitor in the caravan, just for, you know, safety's sake for the family, just to make sure there was no noxious gases getting in there. It never registered anything at all. I kept checking it, especially on the first night. Didn't register anything, so there's no fumes getting in the van. We couldn't smell it. I never ended up putting a snorkel pole on it, and we couldn't smell it at all. So yeah, I think it'll end up just staying the way that it is. Fuel usage, so we had it running for probably about 10 hours each night, so about 30 hours worth of runtime, and I did burn through about 9 litres of diesel. So it does use some, but one of the nights I had it up very high. I had it going flat out for probably about 3 hours straight, and you can really hear a difference with that injector. You know, it goes from sort of tick, tick, tick to, you turned up full ball, she's going tick, 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 just burning fuel. So anyway, that's where we are. It does burn fuel, so I'm going to have to remember to bring a jerry can next time, if we go away for any more than a couple of days, especially through the middle of winter, where I'm going to have to run it a bit higher. But yeah, that's about it. Works good, happy with it, and I mean, I'd recommend it. You know, easy install, more or less easy install. Some of the things I would definitely look though, if you're going to get one, buy yourself some more ducting, because it doesn't come with enough ducting really. And I mean, that's about it really. That's the only thing I found in the kit. Oh, and get some better fuel line. The fuel line that come in the kit was not fantastic, so I would run better fuel line, and which I have done now anyway. And yeah, just some more internal ducting so you can route it better, because it doesn't come with enough. But other than that, it's going good. If it fails at all down the track, I'll let you know. But yeah, thanks for watching, and keep an eye on the channel, because I've been watching all the comments that have been coming through about the new name for the second channel, and I think I've settled on one. So next week video will be back on the boat, and I'll let you know what the new name is, and then we'll get the new channel happening, and I can start trying to prioritize my videos between this main channel, or sorry, this channel and then the main boat channel. So yeah, stick around. Next week will be all about that and the new name, and we're going to get a bit more work done in the bathroom on the boat too. I think it's about time we get that job finished. So alright, that's enough of me chatting. I'm going inside. You stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next one.